Yesterday, I made a video where I read an article from the Daily Wire about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, making a statement about Generation Snowflake. Straight up, the story is not true. At least according to The Rock, he's denied everything. Now, when it comes to stories that turn out to be fake, there's no black or white way to deal with it. One thing I'm definitely not going to do is delete the video. But I do have all of the sources pulled up. I want to read what actually happened, show you the statement from The Rock. And then I want to actually show you the other stories, because I think there's an opportunity to talk about how is it that I was hoaxed. And then, it's like this trail of news, right? So the Daily Star, it looks like a legitimate publication. It's where the interview allegedly took place. The Daily Wire sees it. Everyone else sees it. Everyone else assumes, like, there's no way this could be fake because everyone's reporting on it. So here's what I did first. I put in the title, in all caps, fake news update. And then I put the link to The Rock's direct statement in the video. Recently, there was a thing with, this thing happened with Sean King, where he was putting out on Twitter that he was looking for a white man who may have killed a little girl. Turns out it wasn't a white guy, and the Young Turks had reported extensively on it, and Cenk Uygur apparently said something like, this is white terrorism, and they did that whole spiel about, white and racism, when it turned out it wasn't an issue of racism at all, it was gang violence. It's a mistaken identity. The Young Turks took their videos down, and I thought that was the wrong move to make. The videos are back up, and it's my understanding, I could be wrong, I don't watch the re-release. I think what they did was they edited out certain parts and then republished them. So I think that's wrong too, and there's a few reasons for it. This is getting shared, right? This video that I made is on Reddit, it's getting shared on Facebook, and it's really important that you don't just get rid of it, because the metadata will still exist. People will still see the link where I'll say The Rock did this, but they can't click it and figure out what happened. So what I'm going to do now, this video you're watching right now is going to go up as a card in the beginning of this saying, major update, click this, watch this video. That way, if this story gets any traction, I'll do my best to try and redirect people to correcting the record. There's been some other videos that I put out that were not overtly fake, but misleading. And it's like I mentioned, there's like a scale. So there was a story a while ago about a couple that was riding their bikes through, I think, like Tajikistan or something, and they were killed. And the Pluralist wrote that they did it to prove there's peace and love in the world. That was, how do you describe it? It's not necessarily, it was fake news. I'll call it fake news, but they took real information and then just try and framed it a specific way. The reality was the couple had been riding their bikes around the world and said that they had found there was peace and love in all places. It wasn't that they were doing it on purpose. They were just traveling. So it framed it incorrectly. And then, so what I ended up doing with that is a similar thing, updated the title, and then I put in the information saying, like, here's what actually happened. But considering the bulk of the video wasn't necessarily about what they did, but about the issue of the danger in the world, I thought, it probably didn't require a full-on video like this. But I want to do this too, because I don't want to ramble too much. I want to show you, first, the Daily Wire has issued an update. This is the story that I read yesterday, update The Rock denies he said it. Right there, right at the beginning. I got some criticisms for AV Club here, because right when you go to the story, the Daily Wire has this big update. The Rock has now released an Instagram post denying that the interview reported by the Daily Star ever happened. Set the record straight, he wrote. The interview never happened, never said those words, 100% false. If I ever had an issue with someone, a group, community, or generation, I'd seek them out, create a dialogue, and do my best to understand them. Criticizing ain't my style. I don't cast stones, and we all get to be who we are. So he posted this to his Instagram. I don't know if I need to play it, maybe, but So first, the Daily Wire's update, front and center. Okay. But now, this is the AV Club. This is the story they originally ran. We regret to inform you that The Rock has some thoughts on, quote, Generation Snowflake. This is another reason why I assumed the story was legitimate. Because it's not just the Daily Wire writing about it. It was left-wing publications. This is AV News is part of the Gizmodo network. It's part of the Fusion network, right? I used to work there. It's far left. And they wrote the same thing. And now here's the thing. I'm really surprised to find that the Daily Wire, they put their update front and center so right when you go to the story, it's in the headline. In the headline, the correction, okay? AV News here, nothing in the headline. Headline still exists. Metadata still exists. It's still going to go out. And no update in the beginning. However, they put an update at the bottom. Johnson has now responded to the purported interview, claiming that it never happened, that the article in question was 100% fabricated on Daily Star's part. Here's a problem with that. Some people, I think a lot of people, never actually watch videos. What they're going to do is they're going to see the headline, maybe click the link and then go, oh, whoa, The Rock said what? Dwayne and Kevin Hart are pals. Oh, wow. Oh, that's crazy. X gone. And then they just go on believing it was true. So, the AV News, they should have updated the headline, right? Like, this is what the Daily Wire did. Update, The Rock denies he said it. It's important you do that, right? And again, part of making this video is so that it's an opportunity to explain how these fake news kind of things can happen, why it happened, but also I need this video to be sort of setting the record straight on that video, because that video specifically talked about what The Rock said when he didn't actually say it. Now, here's the thing. Let's see, AV Club put out a new article, okay? The Rock says that Generation Snowflake interview was 100% fabricated, totally fake, and you heard me say this stuff already, so they basically did the same thing, but they do link back to their original article. So I will say, when it comes to written articles like AV Club or Daily Wire, I think what the Daily Wire did was basically spot on, headline update. AV Club probably needed to do a lot better, but they did put out a secondary article. The problem is people might never end up seeing this. And so this is what you get when you go to the Daily Star now, right? 404 page not found. They deleted it. And there's some interesting things I found when trying to figure out how this ended up happening. This is the original story from the Daily Star, and it's archived. The Rock lays the smackdown to Daily Star as Dwayne Johnson hits out at snowflakes. I guess the story was too good to be true, right? Or it was too good to pass up. Major celebrity, one of the highest paid actors, coming out and making a statement. There's a few things about this that are really important. For one, this really was the perfectly crafted fake news story. It really, really was. You've got mainstream celebrity, right? That's a huge issue. So right away the headline pops up and you see The Rock and Dwayne Johnson. The Rock lays, like they used his nickname and his full name. This is for SEO value. This was a cleverly manipulated PR stunt, in my opinion. I don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it, but this is brazen. To come out and make up a fake interview claiming that The Rock said something, but let's look at the anatomy of the story. The Rock and Dwayne Johnson in the headline, and snowflakes. Now you've got people finding celebrity news. We're going to read about it. You've got people looking up social justice warrior and things like that. They're going to find it. The other thing is, there's a lot about this that really does seem plausible. For one, Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson are friends to an extent. They've been in several movies together, that's my understanding. And they mention this in the AV News piece. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart are pals, having co-starred in comedies like Central Intelligence, Jumanji. One can imagine that his recent comments to the UK's Daily Star, in which he laments Generation Snowflake, were at least partially prompted by the controversy surrounding Hart's old homophobic tweets and the fallout of his gig hosting the Oscars. That's what I thought. I was thinking, and my brother was telling me this too, oh yeah, this totally makes sense. His friend is getting dragged to the media and he's probably frustrated. But also, when you look at what was said, he didn't say anything really that crazy. He said something like, I don't have to agree, well, he was accused of saying, I don't have to agree with what somebody thinks, who they vote for, what they voted for, what they think, but I will back their right to say or believe it. That's democracy. So many good people fought for freedom and equality, but this generation are looking for a reason to be offended. That's not ridiculously controversial. There have been certain people who have made way more controversial statements coming out against, super woke. In fact, I would argue Aziz Ansari, after he was dragged through that false, Me Too thing, his jokes about people being overly offended much, much further than this. So ultimately what you end up having is this guy, Jack Andrews, another thing I found, apparently is not a real person. This is weird, right? The Daily Star pulled off, in my opinion, a huge PR stunt to get themselves traction. Bravo. Because here's the thing too, is the Rock going to sue them? Probably not. Probably not. All he has to do is, and the other thing too is, part of a lot of these lawsuits is that they ask whether or not you have the ability to set the record straight, and The Rock clearly displayed that he did. So, however, in the UK, things are very different from the US, and this could be really, really bad for the Daily Star. Again, they deleted the story, but I decided to go on Twitter and try and see if I could find this guy, Jack Andrews, who apparently wrote the article, and here's what I found. In response to Dwayne Johnson's tweet, setting the record straight, the interview never happened, we read that part, this Twitter user said, the reporter who made this interview up, Jack Andrews, doesn't exist. The Daily Star has 3 showbiz reporters named Jack, see pics, but no Jack Andrews. It's a pseudonym for fake Reach PLC stories, complain here. I don't know what Reach PLC is, but What they did was they went to the Daily Star and tried to see if they could find someone named Jack Andrews, and they couldn't. And then they published, Jack Andrews in his name. I can only speculate as to what this is, but I will say bravo, because I used to work in marketing. I know how fake news works. I've done marketing campaigns, right? I used to do this for like nonprofit stuff, not like this, where you just try to figure out how to get people to donate. But a core piece of, when I was growing up, my friends who work in social engineering and the weird stunts they've pulled off have revolved around how do you get a story to go viral? And this is spot on. Again, I'm going to say it one last time for you because I really want to respect the art of how screwed up this is. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, that's pure SEO. They hit the nail on the head. They got the left and the right to write about this. I think that was the goal. What they're going to do in the end, I don't know, because the story's been deleted. Maybe, and who's Jack Andrews? Who's the editor who published this? I don't know if I'll ever find out, but there you go. I mostly needed to make this video because I need to set the record straight on the video I have up yesterday. I don't want to delete it because I think that just makes things worse. So this will be there, and I'll do my best. And let me know what you think, if there's a better way to go about it, but I think this is the best thing I can do. Anyway, stick around. I'll have another video, more videos on this channel at 6 p.m. and on my main channel, youtube.com/timcast, 4 p.m. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys then.